Hello, and welcome back to the journey through Shin Megami Tensei IV, where our four protagonists have just seen, with their own eyes, the massive, demon-infested metropolis that is Tokyo Underground. A civilization several times larger than the Kingdom of Mikado, full of towering buildings and undoubtedly a ton of secrets held within. What adventures await the party, and will they find the Black Samurai? Watch on to find out. Back in the Sky Tower, the party sees a nearby elevator. Not being familiar with any modern technology, Barrows has to explain how it works, which impresses Walter. We take the elevator down and are taken to a rusted room, filled with cabling that has this mysterious red, glowing energy running through it. The dull hum of electronics in the windy exterior of the observation tower is all that can be heard. Barrows tells us to watch out for a boss nearby. What? Already? It feels like the Minotaur fight was 5 seconds ago. But yep, we've got another one to face any second now. As we explore the area, we take note of the suspicious sculptures of people all around. No, they're not sculptures. Something about the look of terror on their faces feels all too real. Sure enough, once we've looped around to the exit of this area, Medusa will appear. We weren't far off in thinking of them as sculptures though. Medusa sees herself as some kind of artist, and she can't wait to add our horrified frozen bodies to her collection. In battle, she mentions something about us being Tayama's dogs. Who's that? We don't have time to consider it further, because she's KO'd the main character, leaving the rest of the party cut off from items, and healing, for the rest of the battle. She continues her deadly assault with the multi-target Snake's Fang spell, and the rest of the party succumbs. It seems we're going to need to improve our defenses a bit before proceeding. In order to do that, we take on some challenge quests. Starting off easy, we engage in a race to kill 5 chagrins. Easy enough. There's a room in the second stratum of Naraku where they tend to spawn. Next, we decide to slay the dragon of Lake Mikado. He asks if we have come to slay him, and knowing full well this quest is about glory, we don't lie, feeling like we should just cut to the chase. A new battle track plays, signaling a challenge ahead. His regular attacks take about half our life away, but we also have a demon that nulls wind attacks, taking the wind out of his sails pretty quickly. After the battle, the dragon asks if we see dragons as enemies to be slain for glory, or as gods. We say that dragons are holy spirits, but apparently we're not too convincing. He just grumbles about human ambition and us having the audacity to oppose gods, and then leaves. On the plus side, everyone is still alive, and we get the Ahazuya Grey armor for our trouble. After that, we take on the escort mission, Missing Child Search. It seems a boy named Timothy has gotten himself lost in the demon-infested Kichigeorgi forest while playing samurai all by himself. The music changes when activating this quest to indicate a change in objective, similar to the demon hunts. We find Timothy in the farthest reaches of the forest, hiding from very real demons. He joins us, excited at the prospect of getting to see the inside of Mikado Castle. We make our way to the forest entrance, dealing with the special battle rules of only being able to use the run or next option, and if the main character takes damage, so does Timothy. All this said, it's not hard at all, taking about 5 minutes. Once we've returned Timothy to his mother, she's extremely grateful and rewards us with a silver necklace, which nulls bind attacks. We move on to the next quest, which is the Cursed Gauntlet. It seems the demon Ares won't leave one of the samurai's gauntlets, a reminder that they need to be cleansed before a novice can attempt the rite. When we fight Ares, he counterattacks whenever we use physical or gun attacks, and he also reflects magic with Makarakarn, which is pretty annoying too. After winning the battle, we've gained the respect of Ares, who vacates the gauntlet and says he hopes to meet us on the battlefield as allies. For our troubles, the samurai gives us 1000 maka, which is a decent chunk of change at this stage of our adventure. That feels like enough questing for now, but before heading off, let's check out Mikado to see what people are talking about. The common perception is that the Black Samurai's literature has been causing people to be turned into demons. Their fear is understandable, but correlation doesn't always equate to causation. We also learn a little more about the relationship between the samurai and the clergy of the monastery. They don't like each other at all, and the monastery tends to stay hidden unless they're looking to manipulate something in their favor. Another samurai is astonished that we defeated the Minotaur, who was King Aquala's personal demon. He tactfully acknowledges the achievement, but is conflicted about the dissolution of something so symbolic of the kingdom's protection. With all that out of the way, let's try facing Medusa again. We lower her offensive power by appealing to her ego, complimenting her collection of victims, and then pummel her with Zan attacks. Soon she admits defeat, saying it's no trick, just look into her eyes to see how serious she is. We don't fall for the gimmick, giving her sidelong glances instead. She's infuriated by our cool defiance, becoming further debuffed in the process and ensuring her defeat. Isabeau expresses the relief that the entire party is no doubt feeling at this point. Jonathan wonders how the Black Samurai could have gotten past both the Minotaur and Medusa all by herself. Walter surmises she must be pretty strong herself, or possibly something more sinister. We continue downward, arriving at the first floor of the observation tower, and encounter some thugs with thick accents. They sneer at us, wanting to know what the heck we're doing here and where we're from.
You acting like you don't know who we are or something?
Walter snaps back that we came from above. The thugs are stupefied by this answer, exclaiming that the angels have come, and they're all gonna die, before running away. Our group is puzzled by the thugs' fear, and their appearance. The unclean ones don't look like monsters at all, but humans just like them. Jonathan is more dumbfounded by being referred to as angels. We step outside and are taken aback by the dreary vastness of Tokyo. That's what this place is called, the party learns when Abbot Hugo radios in. He transmits some maps to us to stay oriented in our travels, and then tells us to find something called the Counter Demon Force Base, which may be helpful in gaining information on the Black Samurai. Oh, and he requests that we collect and transmit any useful data we find as well, of course. And now we can celebrate, because we can finally explore Tokyo Underground for the first time. There's plenty to discover, so let's get started. The first thing we notice is that the bridge to Kasumi Gaseki is out, and the area around it has been commandeered by Kelpies. One of them calls out to us and tells us their story. A demon called Peallaidh has driven them all out of the Ueno area. If we can bring them his head, they'll help us cross the bridge. We also discover a stadium nearby. Inside, a man in a red vest says they're getting ready for a tournament, but in order to enter, we'll need to keep doing quests to make a name for ourselves. Another person tells us about the Ashura Kai, a group that controls most of the city, and they aren't above destroying part or all of it to maintain their dominance. Then we reach the exterior of Ueno Station. We explore the area on foot, finding some relics and a treasure chest. There's some interesting human demonoids to fight here too. The hooligans fire off their pistols regularly as part of their idle animation, and they say we suck when we don't have any more life for them to drain. I can almost imagine them speaking in a Beavis from Beavis and Butthead voice. This Ashura man looks a little like Dante from the Devil May Cry reboot, except more muscular, and he has 6 rifles strapped to his back. Same menacing, downwardly angled glare though. We try to recruit him, but he won't have it. Last but not least is the Gaia man. He has a very Mortal Kombat aesthetic with the red gi, triangular hat, and wide fighting stance. Too bad we can't recruit him either. Eventually, we're funneled underground into the subway, which acts as a safe zone where we can rest, chat with people, and buy stuff. Well, we're safe from demons here, but not other people, evidenced by a man that mugs us for 100 maka as soon as we walk into the place. After talking to some other people, we learn that the Ashura Kai are basically the Yakuza. They're a deterrent to the demons outside, which explains why it's relatively safe here in the subway. But the businesses around here have to pay them off to keep running. The Ashura Kai are bullies for sure, but they're all the people have to rely on. This man we talk to says we smell like sunlight, but can't reconcile that observation because it's been 25 years since the ceiling was placed over Tokyo. Another woman unflinchingly asks us to please die close to the city if we go out adventuring, so that our stuff is easier to scavenge. In the next part of the subway, a street vendor slyly lets us into the black market shop, hidden away from plain view. The music here is a bop, and the shopkeeper has a few distinctive voice lines too.
Oh, a hunter.
Here, we can buy new weapons, guns, and gear. We get some toxic rounds for the main character's gun, since very few demons resist poison, and it'll kill them faster. They're kind of expensive at 2.8 thousand maka, but it seemed like a worthwhile experiment. We talked to a few more people here in the subway. This hunter says only people with smartphones can summon demons, but those have become incredibly rare. He had to make deliveries for a year just to get his. This person claps back at us for calling them an unclean one, but admits to not showering for days, just like everyone else around here. From here, we cautiously enter the Hunters Association bar, which is grimier and noisier than Kay's Tavern, but serves the same purpose. Hunter is short for Demon Hunter, which is the underground's version of the samurai. They take on quests that need doing. The outlook here is different though. Sure, their actions protect the citizens, but it's more about earning money and surviving than ideals. We can heal for 100 Maka here in the bar, but it's pretty clear that the food has less nutritional value than what the party is used to, judging from their cautiously adventurous attitudes when consuming it. We decide to chat with everyone at the bar and end up learning that we need to cross the bridge going to Kasumi Giseki in order to get to the Counter Demon Force base. That's where those disgruntled Kelpies that wanted Peallaidh dead were, so now we know that we need to look for him. Our quest giver has instructed us to find Peallaidh at Shinobazu Pond, but we're not exactly sure how to get there yet. First, we head out of Ueno Station's northwestern exit and are taken back to the streets. We explore a bit, filling in the map and discovering a place called Yodogawa Camera that's actually a demon domain. Sure, let's see what we've got here. Inside the mapper app is jammed. We could draw our own, but the layout isn't convoluted enough to warrant it. One of the enemies we encounter here is Jack the Ripper. As a diminutive anthropomorphic pumpkin in a trench coat and hat, I'd say he's adorable. But he's also running at us with a knife, so never mind. There's also the Preta, which means hungry ghost, and I guess you could say these little purple guys, with their glowing eyes set in dark eye sockets, look like their souls are hungering for something. And these poltergeists look like cute but spooky little aliens with their big empty eyes and chibi character proportions. The boss here is Kin Ki, which means golden oni, and hey, that's what he is, a gold-colored demon. We defeat him with Zan spells and a nicely procced smirk to receive a light bulb for our efforts. This is a delivery item for a challenge quest. The lore here is that they're not really made anymore, so people will pay a premium for them. We go back to Ueno Station for some healing and try a different path in our search for Peallaidh. We take a vent that leads to a back alley with an awning, but all that's up there is a Hank Hill sounding guy intent on taking all the treasure that's around. It's all yours, Hank. We're just trying to get the lay of the land. But yeah, that's all there is here. Back in Ueno Station, if we take the southwestern exit, there will be a vent in the ceiling and some stairs going up. Either way, both exits take us where we need to be. The music here is unsettling in a way that feels like a slasher flick or something. In the center of the area, we hop across some little patches of land surrounded by water to get a 1-star commodity relic. We take the northern exit to deliver some film to a photographer named Nozomi, since we accepted that quest back in Ueno Station. Finally, we find a boat dock on the eastern side of the center path of the area. Peallaidh pulls himself up from the water and, well, he makes quite an impression.
I'll eat, and shit it up all I want.
His name means Shaggy One, but really that's only part of it. He's covered in green, sludge-like hair, yeah, but he also sways like a zombie and wears an upside-down mask, with one of the eyes glowing red. It's a good mix of terrifying and Lord of Trash. We deal with the Morio horde he summons first by blowing it away with Zan, then set his trashy soul ablaze with Agi spells. He has the funniest post-fight dialogue we've seen so far, lamenting the prospect of cleanliness.
If I die, I'm gonna be purified. They can't clean me, bro.
Unfortunately, the party has to deal with the disgusting stench of his severed head. We bring it back to the Kelpies, who form a bridge out of themselves. And then we cross into the Chiyoda region. We're still not quite in Kasumi Giseki yet, so let's see what's around here. Closest to us is a place called St. Nicholas's Cathedral. There's a nervous goblin holed up in there, waiting for assistance from an unnamed her. We can't do anything right now though, and he seems safe enough, so we take our leave. Going almost as far west as possible, we'll find a stadium called Bugei-kan, where the air is filled with the smell of hot blood. We see a lot of it on the ground too, so some brutal fights must have happened here. It's empty now though. Right at an important intersection in the road is a helpful guide man that tells us to go south to get to Kasumi Giseki, so we head in that direction. Some new enemies we encounter along the way are the human snake Nagas, the pale and shocking Quicksilvers, and hey, an honorable zombie cop. Still coherent enough to give us a salute. Even when undead, he's looking out for the safety of Tokyo. He thinks we're the problem though, so he won't join our group. We also see Tokyo Station on the east side of the path on the way. We quickly check it out and learn more about the Red Triangle Hat guys, the Ring of Gaia. They're all about living life through raw power, since they believe that's the only way to get fair outcomes. They'll come into play later. Going south as far as possible and then west, we finally arrive at Kasumigaseki. Some Ashurakai thugs are guarding the elevator we need to use, and when we spill the beans that we're the angels the other guys ran from, they sick a giant, grouchy spider demon named Tsuchigumo on us. We put it on ice with some bufu attacks, and then the thugs run away. The party has an air of cluelessness about the thugs' fear that makes each exchange feel like a cartoon. In this case, Jonathan thinks that they must be really busy and have some errands to run. With the guards gone, it's time to enter the base. We make our way to the second floor basement. The place has been abandoned by humans, but there are plenty of demons roaming around. When we enter the first door on the right, we encounter the Terminal Guardian. There are a dozen terminals scattered all around Tokyo and beyond. We've already found a couple, but most of them are going to be guarded by the shapeshifter guy, the Terminal Guardian. This time, the Guardian's posing as a guy with a leather jacket and trucker hat, and he summons a pixie horde on us. We have to attack with whatever we've got, since they don't have any weaknesses, but we press on, defeating them in a few rounds. There was also a Terminal Guardian fight back in Ueno Station, where the Guardian posed as a man in a red vest with a southern twang.
Ha ha! Least you'll be fertilizer for the famous cherry trees here!
He summoned a Karasu Tengu and 2 Kappa Tengu that the group just Zeo'd through. Continuing on in the Counter Demon Force base, the group gets a bit of a scare when they see the Black Samurai's armor, the Demonica suit, but no Black Samurai occupying it. There's actually several of these hanging around. Baro says they were worn by the combat unit that exterminated the demons when they first started to appear. More on that in a bit. We take the Demonica and a new gun, the Lochsteyr, as well as an ID card that we use to gain access to the briefing room. Burroughs scans the place and transmits all the data, marking the completion of our first big Tokyo quest. Sister Gabby radios in to say thanks, and relay a message from Abbot Hugo saying to come back to Kay's Tavern for more relic-seeking quests at our earliest convenience. Walter is confounded by this, seeing it as a waste of time when we should be using all of our resources to capture the Black Samurai. Jonathan chimes in, saying he should see the potential value all this relic discovery could provide to the people of Mikado. Then he asks us if we agree, and, reluctantly, we do. Walter expresses his disappointment at this obsequious move, but Jonathan pipes in again, asking what good it would do if we lost faith in the kingdom. Just as it starts to feel like too much browbeating, Isabeau says as much, and changes the subject to how we're going to obtain more information on the Black Samurai, such as from another town or something. From here, we can warp back to Kay's Tavern via the terminal and update our gauntlets with some new quests. But let's check the briefing room again to read some important files. It seems the demons started appearing 25 years ago in the year 2013 after the demon summoning program had gained some notoriety on the internet. No one knows who created it or why. We also learn that the Demonica was manufactured in what's referred to as Country A, known for having the best combat efficiency in the world. Given the context clue, it's not hard to deduce that they're talking about the United States. With that bit of sleuthing out of the way, let's exit the Counter Demon Force base and explore the outside of Kasumigaseki a little. There's some treasure chests and a relic on the ground, but the real highlight is the return of Hank Hill, who insists all the treasure here is his. Sorry Hank, we got it all already. Gotta go, bye. Leaving Kasumigaseki, we head as far north on the world map as we can, and meet a hunter who we pay 500 maka to in exchange for a ferry ride to the Shinjuku region. Here, there are a few sparse areas of land surrounded by poisonous water. We can take a tunnel to Ikebukuro nearby, but let's save that for later. We continue westward until encountering a demon domain in a corner between a railroad and another poison pool. The demons here are nothing we can't handle. The boss, Roppongi, however, is a different story. He's a grumpy mage tree, and he's got no spoons for the likes of us. After he wipes the floor with the party on several occasions, we go into a leveling and fusion montage, culminating into bringing a Tsuchigumo into the fight. That's the big grumpy spider that the Ashurakai thug sicked on us not too long ago. The grumpy crab reflects the grumpy tree's Maziodyne right back at him, and the party successfully torches Roppongi, netting us the Yata no Kagami relic. We keep exploring the Shinjuku region, working our way south along the western edge of the area, eventually encountering a hunter looking for some red that he dropped. He really needs it to help with some demon causing a ruckus in Shibuya. We continue past him, hooking around the mountains blocking our path in a clockwise motion. It's here where we find a subway station going to Shibuya that an Ashurakai thug is blocking off. We'll come back here later. As a consolation prize for the dead end, we jump into the nearby Cameron building, which is actually another demon domain, and recruit a cool dragon-winged lady called a Vuivre into our party. Then we just leave because we've had enough of domains for a while. Since there's nothing else to explore for now, we double back to where we were traveling along the western barrier and head east, arriving at Shinjuku Station. We're approached by a girl named Hikaru, who asks where we're from. When we tell her we came from above the ceiling, she seems to have heard about our encounters with the Ashurakai. She knows we're looking for the Black Samurai too, and gives us a tip that the Juraku bookstore in Ikebukuro might be a good place to look, since there's a ton of books there. Barrows relays this information to Abbot Hugo, who tells us to follow the lead. Jonathan asks Hikaru why she's helping us, and in response, she only says that she's been really interested in us. Walter's sad to see her go after the exchange, but Isabeau just thinks she's a sweet talker. We explore a little more of the area outside the station, finding some loot and then an elevator that takes us to the back area of the subway below. The main area is blocked off by a gate, and all we can do is fight the terminal guardian here, who's posing as a younger man with a hoodie. He unleashes an Osei on us. This leopard-looking demon has no weaknesses except to the bind status effect, and his blight attack damages and poisons the whole party. We finally defeat him with some persistence though, unlocking another useful teleportation destination. We turn around, heading back to the ground level and open a shutter to find a woman who's friends with Nozomi the photographer. She does routine inspections of the Counter Demon Force base and needs a photo to attach to a report to a man named Fujiwara. It's a little curious why a hunter would be doing inspections of that place, but seeing as she's a friend of Nozomi, we go back there, snap the photo, and take it back to her. For our troubles, we get an olive camouflage armor. Once we've completely cased the exterior of Shinjuku Station, we find an escalator leading to the main area of the subway. We hit the button to open the path to the terminal, and then get to chatting with some people. There's an Ashurakai thug guarding a steel shutter. He won't let us through, because the demons on the other side would destroy any sense of safety the inhabitants here have. Other people we chat with around here have nothing left to eat but demon meat. They've gotten used to sleeping in the streets, and will never see the sun rise. They don't even know what the sun is. The Ashurakai keep things safe, but throw their weight around too, invoking the big boss, Mr. Tayama's name, if they think things will get out of control. We head to the Hunter Bar to update our gauntlets and gather some more information, and we learn that the Ashurakai have built a suspicious tower right in the middle of Shinjuku National Park. They've also confiscated all the supplies from the department stores and malls, but we might get lucky and find something they missed, someone says. Now that we've got the scoop in Shinjuku, let's take a little detour and check out the new combat training quests that are now available. Each of these battles imposes certain restrictions on us, and it's our job to solve whatever combat puzzle we're in. The first one teaches us that reflecting enemy attacks can be an effective strategy when our own skills aren't cutting it. The second one forces us to learn how to exploit enemy weaknesses with both limited press turns and skill loadouts. After that, we do a quest to help Isis, the mother goddess of Egypt. She needs her husband's coffin back, so we pick it up at the bottom of Naraku, but as soon as we do, the demon Seth starts to chase us. We make our way back to the second stratum, dodging the pink demon apparition using all manner of jukes and trickery. In one place, it's standing right in front of the door we need to go through, so we just wait around a corner for it to despawn. It's pretty butt-clenchy being forced to run past Seth at very close range. For our trouble, Isis gives us 5 strength incenses. Nice. To round out our collection of quests, we accept the task of reforming the reckless Kuchulain. He's way too hot-headed in battle, and his mentor, the red-robed Megami Skaha, wants us to knock some sense into him. To that end, she's transformed him into his younger self, Satanta, and we've got to fight him at Bugei-Con, that stadium with the bloody floor mentioned a while back. Satanta can one-shot anyone in the party after he charges himself, and he also has the skill Fatal Sword, but we manage to beat him anyway. He realizes the importance of maintaining one's cool in the heat of battle, and Skaha is pleased that he's picking up what she's putting down. We get the sword Brionac for our trouble. Back in the Shinjuku Hunter Bar, we accept the corpse disposal quest to be allowed through the east gate in the subway. What we have to do here is burn the reanimated corpse piles that have started to appear in East Shinjuku. This quest was issued by the Ashura-kai themselves, who have framed it as a civic duty to help make Shinjuku a better place to live. How thoughtful of them. There's 7 corpse piles in total, so we go around Kabukicho, Golden Gai, Main Street, and Nicho to torch them promptly. Along the way, we talk to some demons and learn that they have an absolutely voracious appetite for these things the humans made called Reds, which they prefer to actually eating humans. We also see a shady man taking bribes from a guy wanting to become a hunter. It's not clear what's going on here, but it doesn't seem good. After we burn the last corpse pile, a fellow hunter approaches us, furious. He's intentionally been giving Reds out to all the humans in order to turn them into demons. So, confirmed. Reds are addictive for demons, and they turn people into demons. His rationale is that Tayama betrayed everyone by trying to coexist with demons and locking up humans in underground districts. What? This is news to us. Everyone in Tokyo seems to be blind to these finer details. The disgruntled hunter continues on, saying he wants everyone to be free from Tayama's grasp, no matter what. Then he swallows a Red, transforming into the decapitated Dullahan.
How do you like me now?
Jonathan doesn't flinch and wants the demon to allow us to help it. Isabeau seems shocked that he went to these lengths. Walter is in agreement, but doesn't think the demon should go unpunished for turning other people into demons. The Dullahan is reinvigorated by their transformation and can't wait to smash the Tokyo Tayama's built. Regrettably, we have to fight it. When she's near death, we're given the option to spare or finish her off. We spare the Dullahan, feeling bad about its pathetic state, and she scurries away. The group has a somber moment where they reflect on the troubles the Unclean Ones face. And then Abbot Hugo gives us a buzz, where he tells us to stop thinking about the boring Unclean Ones already, and to get to the bookstore to follow up on that Black Samurai lead. To that end, we go back to the shutter that was being guarded in the Shinjuku subway. The Ashura man lets us pass once we agree to take care of the demon that's been raising hell at the government offices. He also says he'll give us something called the Jirai Talisman that he swiped from the demon once we've done the deed. Beyond the shutter, there are more people to talk to. There's an old woman who lost all her photos while fleeing to Shinjuku. She just wants one photo of the bar she used to own in Golden Gai. Another woman mentions a cocoon filled with the ones chosen by God that flew away from Shinjuku National Park right before the ceiling appeared. This man mentions that on top of everything else the Ashura-kai control, they're also providing electricity to all of Tokyo. And this elderly man is so hungry that he's debating eating a red pill that he found. Aw man. When we leave the subway, there's a nearby building where we can talk to an ambitious hunter. He's excited about Ikebukuro, which he's heard is completely free from Ashura-kai influence. Everyone must be living it up there, since he's never heard back from anyone that's gone. He asks us to snap a couple pictures of the place for him. He wants one picture of the 60-story Sun building and another of the row of department stores near the East Gate. We say sure and are on our way. We continue exploring Shinjuku West, which eventually takes us to the government offices plaza. The top level has several barriers blocking the path, and they can only be hit from one side. So we jump down to the ground level, solving these obstruction puzzles as we go. Once we're on the east side, we enter the main building. Inside, an Ashura-kai man is trying to bargain with the demon responsible for the havoc going on around here. He's called Quabiko, and he kind of looks like Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas. The Ashura man has 2 hunters with him too, who are upset about their friends getting eaten. Quabiko says he likes eating humans, it's natural, and he doesn't want to relocate, since the demons were here in Shinjuku first. The 2 hunters get cold feet and run away, so the Ashura-kai thug tells us to kill Quabiko, for Shinjuku's sake. We don't like it, but we agree to do it. Quabiko condemns the humans for putting their society above nature's order. Like the Minotaur and others, he's got a way with words.
I will rend you to pieces and fertilize this land of Shinjuku with the remains.
We fight Quabiko, and once we've won the battle, he bitterly accepts his defeat, saying it's a demon's destiny to be contemptible, and he welcomes his time to become one with the earth again. The Ashura-kai scoffs at him, saying he shouldn't have picked a fight. Then he pays us 4,000 maka and struts off. Walter expresses his discontent, and wonders if we made the right choice in killing Quabiko. After feeling the weight of perhaps a regrettable decision, we decide to handle one more challenge quest before moving on. This one's called Demon Guarding the Shrine, and requires us to slay Okuni Nushi, who was once a god that protected the people, but has since gone rogue and started to attack them instead. We track him down to Kanda Shrine, north of Kasumigaseki. It turns out Okuninushi is really angry that the humans of Tokyo have no respect for nature. Specifically, they've gone and destroyed the Field of Autumn Leaves. Once we've defeated him, we learn that it has something to do with a promise he made to a friend. It seems he was vengeful out of a sense of loyalty, rather than malice. When we talk to the hunter that gave us the quest, we experience some tonal whiplash as he goes on to blame the Ashura Kai for the mess up. Then he doubles down, saying that even if the demon did have a reason for being angry, he didn't have to take it lying down. For our efforts, the hunter gives us the Bushi Tasogade leg armor, and we walk away, perhaps feeling worse for wear. Next, the party heads towards the latest lead on the Black Samurai, which is in Ikebukuro. We get there by going back to the big area surrounded by poison water from when we first arrived in Shinjuku. There's a subway tunnel there that takes us right to the Ikebukuro region. We take some time to explore a bit, finding some treasure and filling in the map along the way. Then we head to the next big destination, an area where some skyscrapers are jutting up far beyond an elevated highway. Some Ring of Gaia members are there, and they inform us that Ikebukuro Underground has been overrun by demons, with a demon named Shi Weng-mu at the top of the food chain. We walk towards a wall of flame, where a Gaia woman named Kaga introduces herself and tells us we can't break the magic seal without the Jirai talisman. We got that as a reward for defeating Quibiko, so when Walter asks if we still have it, we say yeah, and then use it to break the seal. Kaga uses her phone to let her comrades know the barrier is down, and that they can now try to sneak attack Shi Weng-mu, which should bring down the other barriers surrounding all of Ikebukuro. She thanks us for our little talisman trick, tells us to leave Shi Weng-mu to the Ring of Gaia, and then takes off. Why let her have all the fun though? We keep exploring the highway area, acquiring a little more loot and then jumping on top of a car to get a nice photo of the Sunshine Building for the hunter that wanted those Ikebukuro pictures. Then we jump down to the street level and have a chat with a hunter. He says a bunch of Ring of Gaia members were heading towards the big skyscraper we just took a photo of, so we go over there, and a Gaia man tells us that Shi Weng-mu's nest is in the building and that Kaga already went in. Then he admits that although the Ring of Gaia have already sent many into battle, it seems they have no chance of winning against the demon, but if it gives other people hope, their efforts are worth it. We go into Shi Weng-mu's domain ourselves, and although the layout has a lot of forked paths, most of them are dead ends, and it's nothing too complex in the end. While we're here, we recruit some more demons, the highlight of which was Gu Huoniao, who only agrees to join us after we agree not to tell anyone she farted. There are some doors here too, which serve as places to eavesdrop on hunters. It seems they initially cooperated with Shi Weng-mu in the hopes of getting rid of the Ashura Kai, but they didn't realize the Ashura Kai were actually a deterrent for her going all-you-can-eat on everyone. Further in, we meet Kaga, who's about to fight two bosses at once. We jump in, taking care of one for her, and off she goes again into the next room. We follow suit and meet Shi Weng-mu. The demon's appearance as a graceful geisha-themed woman belies her monstrous appetite for humans. She delights in referring to all her victims as cuisine, with the more lively ones acting as fine delicacies. When we try to attack her, we find out she's got some sort of protection spell on, and we can only damage her for 1 HP. Crap. A group of Ring of Gaia members come to help us, but Shi Weng-mu devours each one of them in a bloody mess. Kaga is the only one left standing against her, saying she refuses to yield to demons. All of her attacks merely tickle Shi Weng-mu though, and when the demon counterattacks, Kaga is left mortally wounded. It's heartbreaking to see this. Kaga says that the weak are fated to die, and if she's weak, then she accepts being eaten. She saves her last words for the player character though, saying that if you want to live, then give yourself over to your instincts, body and soul, and struggle with all your damned might. Then she's eaten. Even Walter reacts like he's been punched in the gut. The party is next on the menu, but suddenly, all the Ring of Gaia members attack from within Shi Weng-mu's stomach, weakening her significantly. Now's the time to attack. We pummel her with Zan attacks and win the battle in a resounding reversal of fate. The mood is somber after the battle. Jonathan reflects on Kaga's bravery and the Ring of Gaia members' grit. Walter adds his praise too, and Isabeau accepts the unclean ones as ordinary humans, just like themselves. Rest in peace, Kaga. With the barrier surrounding Ikebukuro destroyed, we're free to go to the bookstore, but there's a subway nearby that needs exploring first. Talking to the people here, we learn the main point of importance is that Ikebukuro is now an abandoned mess without the Ashurakai's presence. They're not coming back. There's no profit in it for them. And that means the people are fresh out of luck and defenseless against the demons. There's also a terminal here, with the Guardian posing as a sloppy old man this time. We defeat his Kaiwan and 2 incubi without much fuss, and now we have another teleportation destination to make getting around easier. Outside, at the east entrance to the subway, we snap our last photo for the Ikebukuro photo quest, and then continue eastward to the Juraku bookstore, which is actually a demon domain. It doesn't feel like it's been that long since the last one, so we feel a little fatigued by its presence, but at least the music is still cool. Gotta love that bass line. We traverse the domain and encounter a familiar Lilim horde. This is the same one from our first encounter with the Black Samurai, which means she's gotta be nearby. We enter the door at the end of the domain, and hell's bells! We found her. The Black Samurai dispenses with a question for us to ponder. Could we live here in Tokyo if we had to? We say yeah. We're doing a good job so far, at least. Isabeau is not in the mood for any chatter, perhaps because the Black Samurai spoiled her favorite manga, so we arrest her. She doesn't put up a fight this time, saying we have much to learn about the world. Upon our return to Mikado, our party receives the honorary rank of the Third Order of Merit. The real result? The forthcoming execution of the Black Samurai, and more hands on deck for the excavation of mystic relics. Abbot Hugo is ecstatic to deliver this news. Just look at his expression of glee. Deliciously evil is how I would describe it, looking similar to Tim Curry's character in Home Alone 2, if you're familiar with that movie. Walter gives some pushback at the idea of returning to Tokyo, but Hugo uses this outburst to disparage Hope's leadership. Hope, a seasoned military man and cool as a cucumber, offers a polite apology, while also making it plain that he agrees with Walter. Abbot Hugo, unfazed, shifts the conversation to matters of preparing for the execution with Sister Gabby. Hope's presence is required for this as well, and the group uses this cue to take their leave. We retreat to Kay's tavern, where copious congratulations are heaped onto us. Not from Kay, though. He's critical of the monastery, saying the execution ceremony is a song and dance to divert the public's attention from thinking about what's been causing people to transform into demons. He's right. There's no solid answer for this. There's the Reds, but only we know about that, and the contents of those are still a mystery to us. Kay's sentiments about the distraction are echoed by Isabeau at the execution ceremony, where she takes note that the Black Samurai still has supporters. The ceremony must be meant to finally unite the people against her. Before her execution, the Black Samurai is unmasked, revealing her to be an exact twin of Sister Gabby. What could this mean? It's such a sudden reveal, leaving the public surprised and repulsed. It must be some sort of trickery on the Black Samurai's part. Her final words to the people are that the kingdom is distorted and biased, and that she will resurrect as many times as needed to give the people knowledge and wisdom. Her words have the intended impact, with an air of uneasiness and worry permeating the celebration at Mikado Castle later. The next morning, somewhat ominously, Sister Gabby requests us to report to the monastery. She has a secret mission for us: rescue 3 mysterious strangers from the tower in Shinjuku National Park. She won't say anything about who they are, other than they're not from Mikado, and they're vital to the kingdom's future. With that, we exit the monastery, but before starting the rescue mission, we take a detour back to the hunter that wanted those photos of Ikebukuro. When we show him the images of the grisly chaos there, he thanks us for our work, and is relieved that he held off on fleeing there. On we go to Shinjuku National Park. We start by chatting with some people standing in front of a scaffolding out in the distance. Word is, a long time ago there was a string of child kidnappings where the children were taken to a cocoon at the top of the scaffolding, which was said to be an ark for those free from the filth. Just before the ceiling appeared, the cocoon flew off into the sky. We continue exploring the park until we arrive at the southern edge of the pond garden, where an Ashura Kai is blocking the exit. We have to fight this demon, Baylor, in order to get through. He tries to cast Mudun, but Vidofnir here clings to life, while the rest of us keep the pressure on him and win the fight. The Ashura Kai curses the demon like it's a broken toy and then says he's not up for fighting himself, since only the smart ones survive in Tokyo. Then he takes off. Now we can go to the next area, Kagome Tower, which is very red. There are these large rectangular slabs with glowing edges lining the walls that make the place feel alive, and the music pumps us up like it's SMTIV's version of We Will Rock You by Queen. We ascend the stairs that line the perimeter of the tower, taking care to avoid as many enemy encounters as possible by remembering that they aggro based on line of sight. Pretty soon, we see a door on the left. We enter and meet Murmur, a knight riding a griffin that speaks in flowery language. He's guarding a masked man in a giant birdcage suspended above ground. Murmur pegs us as scoundrels for even daring to approach the cage, saying he'll pluck our spirits from our shells, and then the battle begins. We defeat him using Agi spells. I love the sound of Agi Dyne. It's definitely more bassy than previous iterations, sounding like an explosion or something. It's great. After the battle, the masked man says he can't remember who he is, and he can't remove his mask either. Only a kindred spirit can do that, and he has no idea who that could be. Jonathan volunteers to take him back to Mikado, and we continue upward. There are 2 more boss fights like this. The next one is against Gamori, a woman in priestess robes wearing a horned hat and sitting on a camel. She brags that she knew we were coming, because she knows everything. Then she tries to seduce the main character, saying she'll show us amazing love anyone would die for. The key word there is die. That's when she attacks us. We defeat her using Bufu attacks, and then Walter takes the next masked man back to Mikado. Onward we go to the top of the tower, where we face Asmodeus, a red skeleton demon with sharp, skeletal armor, a reptilian tail, and glowing green eyes. He seems pretty intimidating, but he has our best interests at heart, it seems. He warns us that if the caged man is released, it'll spell doom for the world. Isabeau asks Asmodeus who the heck the caged man is, but he refuses to say, mentioning that if he even says his name, the masked man will remember who he is. We can't turn back, so Asmodeus lets out a gleeful laugh, accepting our challenge, saying he'll
Crush the man betwixt my hands, and take the woman for a bride!
He casts an almighty spell called Hell's Torment that almost wipes the party, but our dedicated healer kept us safe. We keep trying to insta-kill him with the light spell Hama, and eventually it connects. A most undignified death for such a cool-looking boss, but it beats going toe-to-toe with him for a few more rounds. Isabeau carries the last masked man back to the monastery, and we follow suit. Sister Gabby says we've done a great service for the kingdom, but remains vague about the identity of the masked men, only giving the slight hint that, once they recover, there will be no need for anyone in the kingdom to fear the demons ever again. By the by, Sister Gabby gingerly downplays an incident that occurred. Surprise! The Black Samurais disappeared. A surviving guard reported that she revived herself, killing the other guard and escaping to Tokyo. Hey, that's what she said she'd do. Sister Gabby is clearly hiding her annoyance at this incident, ordering us to kill the Black Samurai this time so that she won't ruin the dawn of the kingdom's new millennium. Burroughs unceremoniously chimes in and accepts the quest.
I'll register that as a new quest on the list.
It always makes me laugh when she butts in like that. The group leaves the monastery, expressing their misgivings about the assassination quest. Walter thinks it's eerie, perhaps misguided. Isabeau thinks it's antithetical. The samurai protect, they're not assassins. Jonathan's worried about the kingdom going into a panic if they find out she's escaped. Before our party can ponder it any further, a samurai comes by with a message from Tayama, the leader of the Ashura Kai. He wants to meet us in Shibuya. We've got to look for the Black Samurai anyway, so that's where we head next. Getting to Shibuya can be a roundabout process, but basically, from Shinjuku, we head southwest as far as possible, and then hook clockwise around some mountains, where we come upon that subway station guarded by an Ashura Kai from earlier. He lets us through for our meeting with Tayama, and we're taken to the Roppongi region. There's some new map music here, a welcome change that establishes this place as Ashura Kai HQ. Shibuya is just west of here. When we get there, we get a radio transmission from another samurai, but it's actually Tayama who speaks to us.
You're late. I'm tired of waiting.
He's gone and captured one of the samurai, and is using him as leverage to have us do his bidding. He wants us to meet the manager of Club Milton at his place of business, where we'll be given more information. Walter and Jonathan are outraged. Walter for having played along and allowing themselves to be tricked, and Jonathan for the cowardice of the hostage situation. Isabeau begrudgingly acquiesces, seeing little choice in the matter. To get to Club Milton, we need to head through another subway. We talk to the people there and learn what's going on. Shibuya has become a haven where the Ashura Kai deal reds to demons in exchange for the public's safety. But the supply has run short due to a demon attacking Club Milton and killing all the Ashura Kai it encounters. Even before this upset, there's been no peace for the citizens of Shibuya. The Ashura Kai may have bought the human safety, but they don't feel safe with the influx of demon activity. They're just expected to accept things as they are. We continue exploring the subway and come upon a new terminal. The Guardian here is posing as a heavily made-up girl this time, and she says some pretty funny stuff like,
"There's no nice way to say it, but I'm gonna kill you."
And,
"Oh, I get it. You're hitting on me, huh?"
She summons a powerful snake called Yamato no Orochi, but it actually turns out to be a total pushover when throwing Zeo spells at it. And hey, we've added another teleportation destination to our roster. We venture on and meet the manager in a back alley near the club. He casually shrugs off the hostage's safety, and bluntly tells us to kill the bastard causing all the ruckus, Koga Saburo. Jonathan is indignant about being manipulated so easily, but rationalizes that it's fine, even fortunate, because it's a demon they want slain after all. We meet Koga Saburo, and wow, he's covered in green dragon scales with claw-like armor and fancy jewels at the shoulder joints, where his arms hover, dual-wielding swords in a reverse grip. What an awesome character design. Credit for that goes to Tamotsu Shinohara, known for his work on various Super Sentai and Kamen Rider series. So if you saw some of those aesthetics in Koga's design, now you know why. The party essentially says, "We have to kill you, no hard feelings," to which Koga is unfazed. We're just Tayama's dogs to him, and he intends to show us no mercy. He raises his evasion and unleashes the multi-target Javelin Rain, which we endure and then counter with an onslaught of Bufu spells. When he's defeated, Koga feels the need to justify his actions, saying he was only trying to protect the country. He goes on to lament the uncertainty of its future, exasperated at the actions of the humans. Then he turns into a huge slab of stone, which is a thing some higher tier demons do. We can bring a special item back here later, which will grant us the ability to fuse Koga. The Ashura Kai manager rushes to us, thrilled that he can get back to the business of selling reds again.
Ah, cha-ching.
He lets us know that Tayama has agreed to meet us at his headquarters, a building called The Hills in Roppongi. He still doesn't have much regard for the hostage's safety, which unhinges Jonathan. He grabs him by the scruff of his neck and snarls that he'd be dead if it weren't for the hostage. Even Walter was impressed.
Jonathan's in rare form.
The manager hurriedly expresses that he was just kidding and to go see Tayama already. When we get to the Hills building, the Ashura Kai standing guard has already heard of us, since we're
The samurai what handled Shibuya!
This is the best thug voice in the game, A+. Anyway, he lets us through, and up we go to the 52nd floor. There, Tayama's got his henchmen around him, along with the samurai hostage. Jonathan has all but run out of patience, demanding his release. The thugs remind him to watch his tone, threatening to sell Isabeau off to the whorehouse if he doesn't. Things aren't off to the greatest start. Tayama offers some empty reassurances, asking us to excuse his men, who even he can't control if they lose their heads. He wants just one more favor, which he prefaces by noting how cocky we've been in his territory, that we've injured countless amounts of his men, and that he's still holding our friend hostage. Kill Yuriko, the leader of the Ring of Gaia. That'll make things even. His reason is simple. She's been trying to steal their power generator, the Yamato Perpetual Reactor. Tayama calls this charity work for the citizens of Tokyo. There's more to this than he initially lets on, too. He's been raising school-aged children here in the building and is hoping to build a utopia, with the children as its base. He's serious about this. He even shows us a promotional video he's made. Walter says they don't have time to build a utopia, but Tayama hones in on the group's need too. If the Black Samurai isn't Ashura Kai, then maybe the Ring of Gaia knows something about her. That makes a lot of sense, so we accept his quest. Tayama says we should start by going to Tsukiji Temple, which can be reached through Tokyo Station. It'll be heavily guarded, so he recommends we pose as new applicants to the ring. We get to Tokyo Station by teleporting to Kasumigaseki by terminal and following the path eastward on the world map. Inside the station itself, we find a Gaia man and two Momonofus guarding the next area, which is strictly Ring of Gaia territory. The Gaia man asks why we're here, and we don't play coy, saying we've come to kill Yuriko. He just laughs at our brutal honesty and then proceeds to administer his test, a fight against him and 2 other guards. It's not too bad at all. We shoo the Momonofus away with Zan and use whatever we've got on the Gaia Man, and the battle is over quickly. The Gaia Man says we're strong, but we won't beat Yuriko. He suggests joining the ring to gain some strength instead, directing us to take the entrance exam at Tsukiji Temple. If it gets us closer to Yuriko, sure, why not? We go through the door they were guarding and are now officially in Ginza. This water fountain should be recognizable from other SMT games. It's nice to see it in this time period. There's a terminal to the east. It's free to use actually, since the Guardian is an Ashura Kai agent, and he wouldn't be seen around here. We can talk to a bunch of the Ring of Gaia members to learn what they're like. We find out the general vibe is that power is everything, but it goes a little deeper than that. One woman is so drawn to the natural magnetism of Lady Yuriko that she would die for her. She contrasts that with Tayama, who wields power through objects, like the power reactor. Another woman brushes off Kaga's death, saying she has no sympathy for her, because by dying, she showed she was weak. That felt like a really callous thing to say, since we witnessed how fierce a fighter she really was. A visiting hunter finds it bizarre that humans and demons are living together here in the same space. My guess would be that the lack of frail, easy targets is acting as a deterrent to them. When we're ready to move on, we go south through Hongwanji Passage and end up on the world map again. Tsukiji Temple is right in front of us, so in we go. First, we learn the rules of the entrance exam. We're given a candle and need to make it to the end of the dungeon before it goes out. One full turn elapsing in battle will deplete its HP meter, so we've got to be efficient when defeating the enemies here. And we can track the candle's HP both in menus and battles. The battles themselves generally aren't too hard, but there are some tough ones, like one against a group of demons that includes Baylor, a boss from not too far back. He uses Titanomachia several times and gets Smurf status, but we're able to turn the tide by reflecting his attacks. A nice application of our combat training. The other thing that can make battles tough is that enemies can hit the candle directly, depleting it even faster. In this battle, that was enough to make it feel pretty hectic near the end. There's also the dungeon layout to contend with. We have to memorize which doors teleport us to specific locations on the map. Hey, they did say it was a test. At the end of the dungeon, a Gaia woman gives us one final test in the form of a fight against her demon, Taraka. She has the ability to insta-kill with the Mudun spell, which actually connects with the main character. With the rest of the party having no resurrect spells or item usage abilities, our chances of survival aren't looking good, but we push through and finally beat her. The Gaia woman waves us through, and we enter a room with a giant statue and other Ring of Gaia members. We see our friends, who've also passed the exam. A Gaia man congratulates us, takes our candles, and then casually indicts us for our assassination plot with Tayama. We're taken completely off guard by this, as the Gaia man triggers a trapdoor beneath us, which we fall through, plummeting into the unknown. After we recover from a painful but not deadly fall, the Gaia monk above shouts that we have Lady Yuriko to thank for sparing us an actual execution, and to proceed through the passage of ethics to meet her. Walter appreciates the courtesy and Isabeau wonders if it's a trap, while Jonathan simply says to have faith. The passage of ethics presents us with 3 go left or go right questions. They're not meant to be easy though. Question 1 asks, if we were rulers of a country, would we allow a person significantly taller than other people to participate in a sporting event? We chose to include them, reasoning that people have all sorts of physical and mental advantages, and that everyone should be allowed to participate. Question 2 asks, if we were leaders of a village, would we welcome a stranger with advanced technology to live with us? We chose to expel them, valuing maintaining the village's stability over new technology with potentially unforeseen consequences. Question 3 asks if a loved one of ours should be taken off life support if it was determined they'd never wake up. The alternative would be to take care of them for the rest of their life. This was hard to consider, and the decision wouldn't be made instantaneously, but we chose to let the loved one die a natural death. Otherwise, it would have felt like preserving one life at the cost of 2 lives not being lived. After that last question, the Black Samurai greets us, asking what kind of people we've revealed ourselves to be. The party is baffled by the presence of the Black Samurai, but she says that she is Yuriko. Tayama yells through the radio that he doesn't care who she is and just to off her already. Yuriko can't help but laugh, taunting the group and asking what they'll do. Are they really happy being manipulated by the Ashura Kai and the monastery? She uses this moment for her big reveal, changing into her true form.
I am Lilith.
She certainly has an intimidating presence, being covered in black feathers, sharp claws, and wings. Not to mention her terrifying fanged mouth, agape and dripping with blood. Walter can only stare. Jonathan's outrage is immediate. Isabeau feels revulsion that a demon's been using books to turn people into other demons this whole time. But Lilith says no, people just do it of their own free will, and that humans and demons are basically the same. Humans just suppress their desires, she says. She goes on to say that we've seen it ourselves, in the emotions that people have had while transforming into demons. Don't hate demons, hate the rules that trap people. Lilith wants to restore natural order to the human world, with no rulers and the strong free to shape it as they please. Jonathan is fuming, but Walter interjects.
This talk of a world which the strong can reshape as they see fit. In such a world, provided that he had the strength, could a casualty do as he pleased?
Jonathan is flabbergasted and reminds him that we came here to kill Lilith. He draws his sword to do just that, but in an instant, the clash of metal can be heard. Walter's drawn his sword to stop him. He asks Lilith what needs to be done to advance this idea of natural order, and she says simply to gain more knowledge and wisdom by investigating Tayama's facility beneath the Hills building in Roppongi. There, we'll see what true evil is. If we're still not swayed by what we find there, she'll be happy to face us in battle. Walter decisively asks that the rest of the party refrain from killing Lilith until he knows what's in the facility and discovers humanity's role in Lilith's plan. Jonathan fires back that what Lilith said is a bunch of BS, but Walter, now determined with a new sense of purpose, feels that he could actually change the world, and with that, he leaves. After the fallout, Isabeau expresses her disbelief over what's happened, while Jonathan is still upset. We exit Lilith's room into a dark, eerie passage leading to the surface, with only the unnerving silence to chew on as the tension dissipates. And that's gonna be it for this part of Shin Megami Tensei IV. What's Tayama hiding in the facility? We'll find out next time. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, make sure to like it and leave a comment. It'd really mean a lot to me. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.
How do you like this building, huh? Home of the rich and famous, and all owned by the Ashura Kai.